Hello, hello, hello. Welcome for another episode of Market Leader Live. Today, I'm on today's your host with the most, your main man, Darren and Palmer. So excited to be with you today for another episode where I bring on change agents, thought leaders, people who get it done. Man, I mean, we got authors on top of authors right now, man. We got books on top of books right now. I'm gonna bring my man first of all, Louis Delgado. Say hello to the people, Louis.
Hello, hello, everybody out there.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Lewis, for coming on. Now I'm going to bring on my man, Coach Q. Coach Q, say hello to the people.
Hey, how y'all doing? So glad to be here, Darren.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Coach. I'm going to break this thing up a little bit because, you know, I know both of you guys. I know that y'all are some go-getters, man. Y'all some out of the box thinkers. Y'all doing just a great thing with your spirit influence. So we'll just go into order again. Lewis, we're going to start with you, my man. If you don't mind, just share with the people, a name of a couple of your books, and then also share with us, why did you choose to be a part of the Footprint of Success co-authoring book?
Absolutely. One of my first book was You Only Get Better. And when I initially started, I was contemplating about it, but then of course, you and I, we spoke a little bit, and it's all about, hey, you don't have to do it right at the first time. I felt that I did it right the first time, because it was just I just had to feel connected, excited, and it was a fun project. And then after that, definitely I went to the second book. It's all about leading edge thinkers, under the influence, because we face a lot of contrast and stuff like that. That was my second book, and I know that with that book, I started to do the same thing, just get excited and put the content and everything together. So definitely, it was an exciting adventure for those two books. And when I decided to jump on to the co-authoring, I felt that definitely, especially I don't know everybody there, but I knew that if I could be on the spotlight with everybody else, I'm gonna have good energy. Not only that, it'll promote more of who I am too, as well as for the rest of the crew that's on this co-authoring book. I think it's a fabulous job.
All right, thank you so much, Lewis, man. I appreciate you sharing that. That's definitely a plus, man. Lewis, you got it in, and he didn't stop. I can't tell y'all everything that he got in the pipeline, but the man just keep going, man, like the Energizer Bunny. And if you don't mind, Franqua, Coach Q, Bedell, share a little bit about the names of your books that are released, and why did you join the co-authoring project?
I've had the fortunate opportunity to work with Darren on two projects. From Chumps to Champs was my first book, and then Get Off the Bench, Get Into the Game was my second book, and two wonderful opportunities to really get to tell my story, share leadership strategies in the second book, and went through a transition of leaving a head position to go to another school. And it kind of slowed that momentum down that I felt like I was having. And then Darren presented this co-authoring project, which was just exactly what I needed to kind of keep that momentum moving, and to be in a book with so many amazing authors like Lewis and all the rest. Lewis said it too, that momentum, that energy, the year of collaboration, this time in my life to collaborate with others and gain knowledge from other people, and to be in the same breath with all these other amazing authors, and not having to take the whole load at that moment of writing so many chapters and having to come up with the investment, which is it's a good thing, but at that time it was kind of something that I didn't want to do, and I felt like this return on my investment would be a lot quicker. But the opportunity to be a 3-time author and then do it with you, Darren, I wasn't passing that up.
Thank you so much, Coach Q, man. It was a privilege and honor to have you, be a part of the project. And when you hear a little bit of Coach Franqua Bedell, and also you hear what's being shared as well with Louis C. Delgado, you'll understand that this is what you want to be at one for those. This is not for the average person. So if you're just about being average, this might not be your type of show today, because these guys are definitely producers. They're the type of people that are always challenging themselves. whether it's in their mindset, spiritual or whatnot. When it comes to what they can do, they don't limit themselves. And so this is the type of show that if you're the type of person who you might be on the edge and you're wondering if you should let your next move be your best move, then this show is for you. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that these gentlemen, along with a host of others, will be a part of our event this Saturday. The Footprint of Success Conference 2020 will be this Saturday at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. AM, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time or whatnot. Now, if you go to PM, we might be there too. Ain't no telling about us or whatnot. But at the same time, we want you to be able to show up. You can register at self-published, the letter N, 30days.com/events. Now, I want to go to Lewis. I want to go back to you on this question, man. Share with us, how have you felt, how have you evolved as a writer, or how do you pick what subject matters you're going to write about for the different books that you do? If you don't mind sharing that with the audience.
I don't mind. It goes back to my first book, right? You only get better, right? And when I did that content and we talked about it, it's just because that's the process in life, right? We only get better. It's just a next step. Whatever you do, you will get better eventually. Just stick to it. Just don't push yourself too hard, and before you know it, the flow will just come in. And so when I did the Under the Influence of Your Contrast, Leading Edge Thinkers, because we are leading edge thinkers. We just you got to just, relax a little bit, maybe take a walk. Like I mentioned that, just take a walk, just sit down, just chill, do something like that, right? That way you can start to manifest some ideas. And then those ideas or contents will just come through with the flow. And of course, nothing wrong with even, pairing up with someone, if it's someone like DMP, with the staff, or it could be somebody outside that, you come with those ideas. Say, hey, maybe you heard something. Maybe you listen to something on the radio. Ideas is flowing everywhere. Maybe just capture, like my next book I have, I'm right now, I'm just gathering some information, so that way I could start to say, hey, what's my next title? And when I decide to make this title, I want, the impact is to influence others to know that we are leading edge thinkers, and we can continue to get better as we continue in our writing skills. This also has helped me to know that I could continue writing, I could continue improving. Was it right or wrong, the books that I written? Possibly, right? But that's good. That's the intention sometimes, to know that maybe we need to do more creativity for the next project.
And I think something that Lewis is bringing up, and Lewis, I don't really feel that, and you already know how we think on this type of stuff or whatnot, some of the development we done together. I don't feel like it was anything that was wrong. I just feel like that it's one of those things that we continue to evolve, and then whatever is for a season is for that particular season. So say, for instance, I'm piggybacking off what Lewis talked about. My first book, Extraordinary Over Ordinary, Stories of Leadership Past and Present, I never did change the cover of that book, because I believe that, if you just start with what you have, that's why I leave that book as is. And you're able to see over time certain things that happen, but I don't take away from those. Don't despise the day of small beginnings, so to speak, because that's where I was at that particular time. But I mean, the design of the cover, it doesn't look anything like the designs that we do now, the stuff that was done but I left it as is because I want people to see. That's where I was at that's what my thought at that time. And I like to say, as Robert Kiyosaki talks about Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's one of those things that you archive. And I'm not saying that you can't come back at another time and put another cover or do another edition or whatnot. But for as me, it was important for me, for as that first book, that I kind of just left that as is. So when people read it, the content is good for me for that time. Now I know if my team saw it, they could shred it up, tear it down. I mean, but it's a whole group of people. But that was just really me at that time, just writing and sharing what I thought was true. So I'm glad that you shared that, Lewis. And I want to just segue and ask Coach Q the same thing. Coach, I mean, share with us, what goes in your mindset? How do you decide what you're going to write about, or how are you going to take on the next project? Which you're doing consulting, you're doing speaking. You know, you're a championship coach as well. It's just so many facets and things that you could write about. How do you choose the process of what you're going to write about for each book?
I think everything that we do is a book, you know, in essence. And so the way I've narrowed it down is, you know, right now I've been working on a leadership book, and we've been talking about that. And right now I feel like that's probably not my next book, because there are some things that have to go on and some processes that have to happen for that book to come along. So what I've been doing is I've been creating articles, been writing articles, and I see these articles as chapters in books. So I just been producing articles and putting it out there. One, like you said, to keep your mind moving, like Lewis said, to keep ideas rolling. But instead of just setting them aside, I was like, I'm going to turn these articles, I'm going to turn these chapters and ideas into little blogs and articles so that I can throw it out there, see how people react, and it kind of dictate what I go into. Because, you know, now I'm thinking about writing a book, and a real small book, but based on how to move in chaos and how to lead in transition and maneuver. So those ideas really come from, you know, where I feel like I'm at that moment and what the environment needs, because, you know, we have to pivot a lot. And we've talked about that. You know, I'm jump stopping the pivot to score, not to throw the ball away, not to do anything else, but pivot to score. So, you know, I look at it in that fashion.
I think those are some valid points from you gentlemen, and I'm glad that y'all are able to bring it. And the one reason that I wanted to have you all on is because you all have done it from different perspectives on the book process. Like you said, you all have both did the solo projects. It's not just your first rodeo. It ain't like you just did one book, not knocking one book, but it's not like y'all just did one. You had to come up with a whole new concept. You had to come up with getting the thing done again. And I think that from working with the both of you, that you all had more strategy. You know, you were more systematic. I like what Lewis was bringing up too as well, as far as, okay, hey, I know what I'm doing on the next book that I'm looking at, so I'm just collecting data. I'm not tripping. I'm not overthinking it. You know, I know when it's time. I know what I need to do, but I know what the team is going to do as well. So I'm good with either way. And I like what Coach Q is sharing too. You might have something. So I'm just going to share a little bit behind the scenes, far as Coach Q, when he reached out, or when we were able to connect with one another, he actually, basically his second book was his first book. Let me say that again for most people out there. His second book, he had already had a book lined out for the most part that he was ready to go with. But after having some consultations or whatnot, doing some consulting or whatnot, to see what would the strategy be, he had just won a national championship or whatnot with his basketball team, and then it didn't make any sense. We was like, hey, wait a minute, what books do you have? And he was sharing what he had. It was like, wait a minute, I know you have this one. We could go that route, but let's go this to take advantage of the opportunity, because you just won the championship. You hadn't even had the ring ceremony yet. Why not? Let's have the book prepared so you can run and have symbiotic flows while the tension is on the championship run, while you're getting all the press and the TV and all that. And they hadn't even had the ring ceremony. Why don't we combine and line the book being done around the same time as that, where you can promote from chumps to champs at the same time? And then we came back at another date and released it. So for those who tuned in, you want to have strategy. Speaking of that, that's what you'll be able to get at the Footprint of Success Conference 2020, coming up this Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Register at selfpublishing30days.com/events. Now, Lewis, I want to go back to you, my man, and I want you to talk about, because both of you guys are beasts when it comes to mindset and the things that you do to work on your mind and your body. But if you don't mind, share with us, Lewis, a few pointers or some ideas for somebody who's getting started or know that they need to work on their mind. Because some of the people who are listening to this right now, you know, it's not just being at home or the coronavirus that's being a hindrance to them. Some of them they haven't been working on their mind. So if you could share with somebody a few tips that could be beneficial for them, or even a couple things that you did starting off that helped you on your professional, personal development journey for your mindset. Could you give them a few tips right now that could be beneficial for them?
Absolutely. I mean, I could get fired up, and definitely it could take a little bit of while, because guess what? There's many, right? There's many options. There's a sequence of things that we all have to do. And for example, when we get up in the morning, sometimes we're in a rush, right? Sometimes take it easy. Don't rush to getting up. Maybe just get a glass of water or something, or meditate for a little bit. Maybe, meditate for 15 minutes, right? Kind of let's start a day, fresh, because as the day goes on, you're gonna be probably bombarded with stuff. We don't know, but you want to start in the beginning, from doing something like that, meditation, or just like you say, quiet the mind, right? Just relax a little bit. Maybe do some yoga, right? Yoga. I do yoga. I don't do too much of it, but I do plenty in a week, right? Just to stretch the muscle, especially in a time of today, when we're home, a little stretching here and there. I got my own little gym, sometime I might be working out just to release some of the tension, something like that. Work in the mind is maybe reading one of Darren's book, picking up his book, or picking up my book, a coach's book, because sometimes when you pick up a book, it will, gives you a different elevation, a different perspective, a different mindset. So, hey, purchase a book or something, reach out to us, and definitely, which way is right. We'll work together and we'll find out. I mean, even for the individual, if maybe sometime a nice walk would bring those ideas too. And it's all about creativity, because everybody is special and unique in their own way.
Thank you for that, Lewis. That's right. I love that part of everybody unique in their own way. And I love how you did that. And I want to segue, Coach, too, with you. Coach, what are some few things that you've seen, whether it's for yourself or when you're working with your own clients as well, or even if it were you coaching a team, what were some things that you've been able to implement in your own life, or things that you share with clients or, team members to help them for us getting into the right mindset?
One, I think you have to have a checklist, just like a pilot has a checklist that they go through before they take off and land. And, and I have mine on my mirror, and it's, I call it regen, and I want to connect. One, when I get up in the morning, I want to have gratitude. I want to say thank you. I want to look over to my wife and just say thank you. I don't want to pick up first thing I don't want to do is pick up my phone. Usually I pick up my son, and have a sense of gratitude, and then you want to connect with something, as far as a mission of what you're going to accomplish. And usually our mission is something, when we were working, I'm going to make somebody smile. I'm going to make somebody laugh. I want to get this done. I want to do this for somebody. Now it's kind of really, truly, I want to connect something with my family and to myself to make myself better in these times. And so I think you have to have something, and I can go down the list of what I do, but we don't have that much time, but you have to have something that kind of brings you back to gratitude, brings you back to nature, and allows your mind to kind of come back to what the whole, mission of really being thankful is. And I think that helps your mindset. Now, as far as writing, it's a whole nother perspective, but I think that helps the mindset as well as just, a sense of gratitude and having a checklist of what you're going to do throughout the day.
Thank you so much, Coach Q, for that. And, for those who are there, like I said, I'm just going to have them share just a little bit. It's giving you just a little appetizer before you get to the main course that's going to be this Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for the Footprint of Success Conference 2020. But before we get out of here, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I just want to hear from each of you. Why should someone attend the event this Saturday? So I'm going to start off with you, Lewis, and we'll end it with Coach Q.
Absolutely. I started sending text messages to my family and friends, say, be there. And the reason why is because they need to listen to these messages sometimes, especially in a time like this, that we're all home, you know, and we definitely need some encouragement. I'm gonna be out there sharing some ideas, some concept, some of my mental thoughts. However, they might not resonate with me. They might resonate with someone else that's on the call. So, you know, I want to bring them to listen to all of us too, because we'll come in here with different flavors, different variety of different ice cream. Which one you want to taste, which one you want to hear. So therefore, you know, they should all come and attend and listen.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Lewis, so much, man. You know, Lewis hitting us with the flavors, man. I'm telling you, he didn't want to give you too much, whatnot. He came dripped up with that tying things on. You know, that's how he rolled, man. So, Coach Q, man, why should somebody attend the Footprint of Success conference this weekend, man? Share with the people.
You know, I think it's a lot like, is it Baskin Robbins with 31 flavors?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, I think the biggest thing, and I hope that people that that I've reached out to and that I'm working with, they can see the value of what being a co-author really is. You know, we can show people the book, we can put it on, you know, social media, and, you know, you can ask people, you know, come be a part. But once you hear the value and understand the therapeuticness of writing and getting your story out, no matter what, like that to me is everything that a person needs, because there's so many people that are going to be on this that you know, that need to hear that they can tell their story, that their story matters, that somebody, like Lou said, it's going to resonate with somebody. Somebody's story matters at the end of the day, and they need some encouragement to have the gumption and the fortitude to step out on faith. You know, and you're gonna either do one or two things, and this is what I end with. You're gonna either do one or two things if you step out and do this. You're gonna step on something solid, which is, you know, writing a book with Darren or the group of us, or two, you're gonna do a solo event and you're gonna fly. And so at the end of the day, one of those two things are gonna happen. So I think that's the reason why they need to come hear this from everybody.
Well, I thank you, Coach Q, and I thank you, Lewis, man, so much for y'all coming on today, man. I really appreciate it. That's it. Rock on. My girl Shay says she's going to be in the building. Can't wait to have Shay there. For those who are tuned in, you know, if you need to reach out to our staff, please contact us. If you have an issue with registering, I mean, I had a couple people that said they had an issue with registering, but most people have been able to register without a problem. We want everyone who wants to be in attendance to be there. That's why we got this event free. So it's free for you. So we don't want anything to be blocking you in your subconscious mind about scared to death that you don't know what you're going to do. This is free. You can come in, and we just hope that you're able to pick up something and learn. That's why we got this all-star group of people that's a part of this particular book. It's because we want everyone to know that you can do whatever you put your mind to. And I'm not saying that you're going to do what Lewis do. I'm not going to say that you're going to do what Coach Q does. I'm not going to say that you're going to do what Darren Palmer does. That's not what I'm saying. But whatever that thing is for you, we hope that you find it. That's why we was talking about the flavors there and whatnot. Now, I know some of you might go into the freezer right now and go looking for ice cream, because Lewis done put that on your mind. But more importantly, we want to just thank you all for coming on, tuning out to the show. And like I said, we look forward to seeing everyone this Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Go to selfpublishing30days.com/events, and we'll see you soon. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it.